Hello everybody, welcome to Indigo Terra Odyssey. I wanted to come outside and do an outside read, but again, I didn't just put my phone on airplane mode and it rang 5 minutes into the video, so I had to start over. But I wanted to show you guys something funny and tell you about this really cool thing that I just discovered. And I'd heard people talking about it on the internet. I'm like, I don't know how good these things can work, but they're actually called magnetic eyelashes. I've never worn false eyelashes because I can't deal with the fact of glue and all of that. But I was watching Cherry and other people and I was like, those look so good and dramatic, especially on film, because something happens with the way we get projected through film. You can be a little more theatrical and other things don't show up. So I really liked them. However, I put on the eyeliner, they went right on. However, they were way too long. They were almost clown-like. They still look a little crazy, but I have to take time to trim them. But they go right on. You put on the eyeliner, they stick right to where you put them. They're amazing. And I think I saw them on Amazon and they were like $14.95. So if you're ever going anywhere and you want that special little touch, I know you can trim them so you just have outer ones and stuff, but I thought they were really cool for ladies that, you know, are challenged in the lash department. But I have this fiber mascara that legit makes your lashes almost as long as false eyelashes anyway, but I wanted to try this and I thought they were pretty cool, and they really do come right on and come right off, and I was really impressed with them. So I just wanted to do an on-camera read and come on and thank you guys for watching my videos and your beautiful comments, and also to let you know that I will be catching up with your comments. I read them tirelessly almost every single day when I can, and I answer them, but it's been 2 or 3 days just due to what's going on in terms of being busy with Ian and everything else, and that I really honor and respect and love you guys so much. So I read everything that you write to me, whether it's on IG DMs or that I'll get to them and respond to them, because you guys take the time out for me, and the whole reason I do this is for you guys and to see your growth and how you're doing and everything. And I want to come on camera because a couple of people had said, oh Mel, I went back to last year's reads and you were out in the garden and you were outside and it looked so fresh, and you know, it was very invigorating, and I really liked that. Could you do some more of that? And I was like, I was really touched by that. So I was like, sure. And I like readers sometimes that come on camera. I like to see the expressiveness in their eyes and, you know, just see that their body language, everything about them. And it's uplifting. You know, I watch Jeffree Star all the time because I just love that. I feel like I have a buddy in my living room with me when I'm hanging out making jewelry and stuff, and he's funny and comical and dramatic like me, and silly, and his little thing with this when he goes, I just love his intro when he goes, hi, how are you, and he has his little mirror. But it's like that thing, and just like I had this issue, and I was listening to Tati, and she was saying how, you know, sometimes a lot of us that work from home, and you know this as well, sometimes it's hard if we just get up and we throw on a caftan or we throw on sweatpants or whatever, and we start working and doing phone calls and emails. It'll be half the day before we take a shower or do anything, and you start to feel icky, right? And half the time I don't wear makeup or any of that, so unless I'm going on camera or doing something. So I was like, you know what, make an effort, because it had been like quite a few days since I had gone out and done anything, and I was like, just, you know, put on some perfume and put on these weird magnetic eyelashes and hope they don't fall off. But things like that we can do for ourselves, especially when we work from home, to just pep ourselves up, especially if we're home alone all day, which everybody went out all day, and I was like, you know, it's fun. I was trying makeup tutorials and doing stuff, so if I look a little crazy, it's because I was in Jeffree Star's palette and just going nuts, and it was fun. But I wanted to do a read today about any significant messages that are meant to come through to you right now, because I feel like with this new Aquarian moon that's coming in on the 15th, super expansive, super fun, getting out, connected, social energy, that, you know, the time is right for us to take risks where we haven't been, where, yeah, see, I'm going to have a 2-card choice for this, and the first one is going to be move forward. A lot of people are pushing through barriers and fear that are no longer there. So we have move forward. These are almost the polar opposites, which is kind of cool. Move forward and time out. Now, move forward is, again, it's about not having any obstacles, because any kind of sabotage really is, I believe the moon is out and it's only like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Self-sabotage is, any kind of sabotage that happens, it's really only self-sabotage, because nobody can harm us or sabotage us unless we let that energy in and we start to doubt ourselves and believe them. And that's what, you know, saboteurs want. So we really have to look into that. Why would people want to harm us in the first place? A lot of people want to drag you backwards if they feel like you're being elevated, the fear of losing you, of you, you know, becoming the shooting star and leaving them. And it's unfortunate, but it's human nature to do that. And what we have to do is recognize it for what it is and be reassuring to our friends if we don't, you know, always see them and we're doing something and it feels super fun and they're not invited, to let them know, you know, it's that nobody is getting left behind, that we love and cherish everybody that's in our family, regardless of what happens to people and how they become elevated, or what happens, especially if you're having brushes with fame and things like that, and people feel like they might be a little left behind, or somebody's just getting all these great invites, right? Things like that. So we have either move forward or time out, and I'm going to let you choose. I'm going to let you know what your message is on our number one. I love these false eyelashes, but I always have this feeling like they're going to like fly off, but they can't really connect to anything other than their magnetic strip, which is the eyeliner. So I don't even feel them. I've never worn them. And here's a weird thing. I don't feel like I have extra weight on my eye. I don't feel like it distracts. It's really wild. I always loved them on all those shows that everybody wears them, like all the housewives and stuff. I'm like, Dad, their eyes look crazy good. Like, I thought they looked beautiful. I will have to see after, though. I'm like, I'll see it on camera. If I looks crazy, this bitch is never airing. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so here's two of your messages: strength and awakening. So part of this is saying, be true to who you are. First of all, always be an original, always be authentic. There are always people that carbon copy other people out there. You see that in groups and music and actors and things like that. And that's just people, they're learning their footing and where they are. But always come from a place of, is this good for the collective, for everybody? But always make sure that you have a strong foundation where you're coming from. And we can't ever serve anybody from an empty table. So if we don't have our foundations, we don't feel situated or comfortable yet, we can't give to others. We can't, we can't direct them. We can't support them emotionally, all of that. Because what I found in life too is people will allow us to do as much as we'll do for them. Of course, they want us to make their life more comfortable, whether it's financially, emotionally, or whatever. But we have to draw back, create a boundary that is healthy and sound for our peace of mind. And again, I have gone, like when I first started this process, I would just work sometimes from sun up to sundown and sometimes forget to eat. I wouldn't be properly hydrated because I'd be like, oh, somebody's asking me this and that, and I would be answering every question. I was like, whoa. I know you're excited and you're excited to help, but again, and I really learned to delegate my time wisely and realize what's actually a crisis and what actually isn't, which you'll be able to determine for family members too, because I feel like now you're more awake to who really needs what and what is a priority and what is realistic of what you can do too, right? We're not trying to rip our own skin off to save somebody else. If there is the shirt off the back thing if the person is deserving, but you're much more awake to who is deserving and who has your best interests at heart. I feel like it's one of those things where you just really start to understand, and you're also becoming awake to other concepts too, of the concept that when we speak well of ourselves to ourselves, letting ourselves know we're of value, what we have to say, offer our offerings, especially artists, or those things are of value, we start to become much more discerning in who we let influence or who we really listen to, especially if it's negative or rhetoric of the old subconscious, you can't do this if you haven't done that, anything that's negative. We don't hear it. We really don't hear it. I mean, I was proposing a book idea to Ian and India and everybody at the dinner table the other night, and Indy's all excited about it, and that premise is really cool. And Ian's like, well, you've got to think of publishing, and right away he went to like the financial aspect and the logical aspect of it. And I was like, well, I'm just devising an idea here. This is what I'm talking about. But well, the people that come in, everybody, that's what I mean about perspective. It's great to have all these different perspectives. However, it's really great when one's logical. But if you get people that just want to chime in to chip away at your idea, you're going to be awake to that and recognize that right away. And that's very important because we're having none of it. We're not participating in that any longer, which is good. And emotions. So your last card, this saying, really get in touch with your emotions and honor them. We're not always going to be in a fantastic mood. We're not always going to think everything and everyone is great. We have the ability to pivot and shift at any time that we want. That's saying, this doesn't suit me. This environment doesn't suit me. This temperature of the room, the way people are behaving, the people are responding, how I feel doesn't feel, it's not my vibe. You at any time we go, okay, and extricate yourself from the situation and leave and know, you're honoring who you are and what you're doing. If there's people getting overtly, whatever, sexual, drugs or something that is not your cup of tea, thank you very much for the invite and go. We never are going to yes or people please because we're being true to our emotions. We feel uncomfortable for a reason. We feel super cool and vibing out for a reason, all of those things. But when we're true to our emotions and we follow our bliss and and being happy and being governed by, our soul's voice. That's what really matters. It's so beautiful right now where I am. There's a bunch of birds just flying over the head. There's swallows and just beautiful birds just circling around. It's really gorgeous. And it's neat to see the moon out right now as well. So yeah, you're going to tap into this unique energy that's going to also help you in your resolve for any of these things, to say no when you want to say no, to create time for what you really want and what you value. Always, always do that, especially with the summer kind of weeks waning. We're going to be moving into fall soon, so we want to have one big last hurrah and kiss of the summer sun and have a good time. So really look out for yourself and what you want to do, because that's really important. Oftentimes we get caught up in other people's fervor and what they want, but now is really your time. I'm really hearing that very strongly. So I love that energy for you, Group 1. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to press like and subscribe, and I hope you like my mile-long falsies. It's going to be, and they they pop right on and off. I love these magnetic lashes. They're really cool. Yeah, really just get out there and enjoy the earth. Like, even now is like, I just kept looking out the window. I'm like, go outside. What are you, crazy? All you need is your tripod and your phone and a deck of cards, and go outside and share the outside. And I love the grass in the background that's growing. So yeah, and all my links are down below, you guys. If you're new to my channel, really thank you for tuning in. And then the next one, your first message is unconditional love. I have to remind myself of this time and time again. If I see somebody that shoots somebody else, me or anybody, a dirty look in any environment I'm in, if I'm in the mall, if I'm at the post office, whatever, I realize that's their energy. We can send unconditional love to that person, quietly saying, I'm sorry that person's in a bad mood. They might have a tough household situation. They might have a boss that is very uncaring and not unkind. They may have a whole multitude of things going on. So when we permeate this unconditional love for everybody, it actually does come back to us, and we feel empathy and love for people, as opposed to feeling anger or hostility towards them, right? That we can rein that in and chain that in and change that and pivot in a minute. And I love this limitless. This is reminding you that you have limitless opportunities, limitless choices, limitless love whenever you reach for it. And I try to do this first thing in the morning. Excuse my allergies. I feel something. I do this first thing when I come in, because of course in our household everybody wants to go in every direction. You know that, right? I want this for breakfast. I'm going here. Can you drive me here? Blah, blah, blah. It could be millions and billions of things. And you're like, okay, so what you do first is just get centered and know that you have limitless potential for the day. When you just acclimate to how you feel, you have gratitude for that. Oh, thank goodness, I feel good. My heart is beating. I can get up and do whatever I want. So on and so forth. And then we just realize, what's something you really want to do? Don't put a limitation on it. What would you love if you could have anything for breakfast? Go get that. Have somebody bring it to you. Have the most delicious latte in the history of the whole wide world if you want. I can base a whole day of joy on the fact that I'm going to have a killer cappuccino at any given time. You know what I mean? I get all excited about that. Stuff like that I get to go handle my cards, whatever it is. Just know that the only limitations come that we place on ourselves. So let go of any of those limitations and really, really step into that. Okay, so these are cards we've already read. So let me give these a show. I love this in Cosmic Connection. I constantly have to re-plug into this, and this is just the level, that we plug into the consciousness of everybody, the energy we feel. It's that thing like where several screenplays of the same kind of movie will come out within a week. That's the connected consciousness of everybody feeling that. The idea is put out there, the energy is put out there, and there's certain receptors that grab that and hang on to that energy, and know that at any given time, that super idea that you're having is not ridiculous. It's not far-fetched. It's actually cast out by the angels and the guides and everybody, and saying, let's see who bites. Let's see who wants to write this book, who wants to write this screenplay, this song, so on and so forth, and create this art, create their new YouTube channel, make whatever they want, right? It's the person that goes out and gives it a try. So this is saying, please go out and try. When you have an impulse to do something, go somewhere or meet someone, do it. To say yes to something, say yes to life, say yes to a challenge, and see what comes through, right? There is no wrong answer. There is no wrong path. It's the fact that you're plugged into this exciting new kind of age of Aquarius, where people want to get connected and share ideas, right? And shadow self. I was talking about this the other day, and this is absolutely something that I have to come to terms with at times. Especially a lot of light workers are conflicted at times with this, going, we're supposed to be this ball of love and light and empathy and compassion continually. However, we're not. We go through every single escapade that other people do. All of us feel it. We go through hormonal stages. We go through emotional and chemical imbalances. We go through separation of family. We go through all the same issues, death, new life, all of those things. So our shadow self is something that's also ingrained in our subconscious to lash out, protect our ego, protect self. And oftentimes when we learn and we feel it and we recognize it, we can pivot and shift away from a reaction and instead respond like an adult that has taken a deep breath and really looked into a resolution, not a reaction, not something that makes us just want to come out top or seem better or seem smarter or any of those things that the ego would do. This is saying, you know what, recognize that the shadow self wants to win, it wants to lash out, where we have our soul's voice come out and say, yeah, it's just like a child, it's just like the ego, it wants attention. But when we realize that we have a higher calling, we have a deeper connection to other people, and when we do it in a loving manner, we treat ourselves better as well. We're not harsh and we're not critical and we're not judgmental of that part of ourselves that says, you know, when someone goes on and on and on and doesn't respect other people's time or space, that we feel like saying, would you just be quiet or shut up? And oftentimes people do that within families, and I feel like that's so disrespectful to tell somebody to shut up. But you can see that a lot, and that's people's shadow selves, like just wanting a change but not knowing how to go about it respectfully or kindly. And lastly, we have surrender, which is just surrender to the flow of everything that's going on around you. You know, it's like we don't have to push, we don't have to challenge, we don't have to go, we don't always have to do. Just surrender. Sit in a chair and stare at the sky. Look at a bird. Smell a single flower. The ease of life. When we decide that life can be easy and simple, it becomes that way, okay? I love that energy so much. Yeah, I just want to come on and just share a few simple truths that were kind of kicking around in my head, and I love using this deck, Be Still. I felt like just really simplifying, and you know, I love the beautiful backdrop sometimes to use for you guys with the gems and all this stuff, but I really wanted to just convey simple messages and come on camera and say hello, and again show you my gratitude and say thank you for, you know, watching and subscribing and your hilarious comments, especially you guys over on Instagram. You're so funny. You absolutely slay me with the funny memes, and we have such a good time over there. So I just, you know, case restaurant, I wanted to come on and say, you know, enjoy summer and really just, you know, simplify. And life is about just getting out there and having fun experiences. We're not here to join a rat race, to compete, to acquire things. We're here to have lovely experiences and meet people and feel connected, right? That's why I'm going to try my utmost within a day or two, within 48 hours, to come live. I was having a discussion with Ian about that, why, and other YouTubers, why people like that so much, because it is a way that we can reach out and really connect and be all sort of in the same room in a kind of cool, electric way, and share stories, and I'll have one big conversation and dialogue with all of us. So I'm going to really attempt that, because I love doing that more than anything, and it's like I'm just not tech savvy, so I need Ian's help to set that up. But I am definitely going to arrange that for you guys to show you my gratitude again, and love and light. So I got to switch back around and do the camera because I'm just here by myself, and I was dying. Well, as soon as I saw the grass, I'm like, I need to have the grass background. Oh, I live for the grass. I live. All right, you guys. So love and light, and I hope this came out. I don't even know if I'm going to end up on camera.